medical oncologist who works for St. Mary's Hospital. I just want to present some facts and data on radon, which is a big problem in Maine, and lung cancer. And first, just want to show the couple of slides, probably 5 or 6, what lung cancer is, then what radon is, and what is the connection between. So first, just shortly to, in one slide I will tell what actually the lung cancer is. So all cancer in lung cancer arises from the one cell, just one cell, which not supposed to be in our body, but just happens. Why this happens, I'm going to tell you later. Could be many factors play alone or in the combination. But the cancer begins when lung cells grow out of the control, just going crazy and keep growing and growing and growing. And when it's eventually shows up on the CAT scans or X-rays, so you see a mess. But eventually everything started from just one little cell, microscopic cells. So when microscopic cells travel through the lymph system to the other area of the body, we talk about metastatic cancer. There are two main types of lung cancer, small and non-small cell cancer, and this depends from how the cells look under the microscope. So here are two graphs which demonstrate the incidence of lung cancer. And if you see, this line shows cancer cases per 1,000 females. And this line demonstrates the cancer incidence per cancer cases per 100 males. And if you will see, among all of these cancers, which kind of has the same incidence from year to year to year, only one cancer, lung cancer, is growing out of the proportion. And nowadays we talk about epidemic of lung cancer. Probably this related to smoking, and I think radon contributes a lot. So that's why we try to bring attention of the public attention to this problem. Even a couple of years before, we thought incidence of lung cancer is dropping, but it's not. And if you can see, this line is going up and then will go up. And little what we can do to change this line, and what we can do, I will tell you later. And this is actually the purpose of this presentation. So here the map of USA, and this map demonstrates the lung cancer and bronchus cancer incident rate by state. And if you see the darker number, that means numbers are very high. And Maine actually painted almost black. It's one state, and the New England, which has very high incidence of lung cancer. And the next slide demonstrates the lung cancer death. And as you see again, Maine is painted in the dark colors here to compare with the rest of the states. So as I said, smoking is a leading cause of lung cancer, and this is the #1 risk factor for lung cancer. And the negative health effect of smoking usually takes several decades to hit as do the benefit of quitting smoking. So for example, if somebody started to smoke at the age of 12, in 20 years, age of 32, it's real for the person to develop lung cancer. And the same if somebody quit on smoking, in 20 years it will be real benefits. So nothing happens in the one day because smoking acts on the level of the gene. It's difficult to kick the genes and unwind the damage. So it takes usually 20 years in both sides. So what are the other risk factors for lung cancer other than those from smoking? Radon. Radon exposure is the second leading cause for lung cancer. And radon is number one cause for lung cancer among non-smokers. So somebody who never smoked may develop lung cancer. And now, because we have more and more data on radon, we think that radon contributed a lot to that lung cancer in patient who never smoked. And we see more and more cases like that. And research indicated that radon causes about 20,000 lung cancer deaths every year in the US and about the same in Europe. So this means 20,000 is a lot. In America, in 2012, 220,000 patients will be diagnosed with lung cancer, and 20,000 of those cases attributed to radon as a number one risk for development of lung cancer. So I have to tell you that lifetime exposure at 4 picocurie per liter radon, which one can call actions for radon, is equal to 5 times risk of dying in a car crash. So it's a big number. So also among most of the deaths are due to synergy, radon exposure and smoking. So here, so I said I dedicated so many slides about lung cancer, smoking, and radon. Now I have to tell you, so you know it's bad, but just want to tell you what radon is. So radon actually comes from radium, which comes from uranium, and all of these materials which all over the place, not only in America, sit in the earth and was there since the earth was formed. So a billion years ago this happened. Uranium got formed in the earth, and then it's decaying, and in 4.5 billion years it's a half-life of uranium. And then after this 4.5 billion years, radium is coming from the uranium, and then radon. Radon is a gas, and half-life of this radon is just 4 days. But when it comes to the underneath of the ground and comes to the house, it got trapped, and it sits there because it likes to sit. It's not very light. It's not a light gas. It sits in the basement and does the thing. So they said once in the home, the radon can be inhaled into the lungs, where its radiation causes genetic mutation in lung cells. And it has a short life, and decays into polonium, which actually causes damage itself. So polonium is a decay product of radon. And polonium, since once it inhales, can cause both radioactive and chemical damage. And both studies on the human and studies on the animals proved connection between lung cancer and radon and polonium. So we have it, it's scientifically proven already, and we know what was the reason and what is the consequence of that. So we know about radon now, but the first mentioning of radon coming back to 16th century, and the health effect of high exposure to radon in mines was first recognized in Paracelsus's work in 1530. And he described sickness which he called mala metallorum, and he called this the wasting disease of miners. So it was just observation, but he didn't know what radon is, and he didn't know why people who work in mines are sick and dying then in many years, but he noticed and it was alarming for him. But in 1879, the wasting was identified as a lung cancer by the two authors, and who did the environmental study in Germany, in Mainz of Germany. So everything which we know from radon comes from the study on miners, basically. And here's one more very interesting fact. Until 20 or 30 years ago, we didn't know much about radon. But because we know it's something in the air and something could cause cancer, lung cancer, but it wasn't enough research on the animals to prove that radon can cause a problem, meaning lung cancer. And here's one incident which was kind of, it was dramatized widely in the media, but this incident is this. So one of the employees of US nuclear plant triggered radiation monitors, despite of the fact that he was sent home from the plant, he was clean and decontaminated. And when he was coming back to his nuclear plant in the morning, he was triggered the monitors. And what was in the reality, he was contaminated not because of the nuclear plant, but because he had contamination at home, meaning he had radon in his basement. And this is a real fact. And this brought media attention. And then this actually incident triggered many research which eventually put everything on the places. And now we know what damage radon can cause. But this particular poor employee, because he had such a high radon contamination in his basement, this contamination turned to be so high that you can imagine that if you would smoke 135 pack cigarette a day, so it's a level of radiation which he was taken from his radon which was in the basement. So, and sooner, based on many facts and more information which came eventually to the light, radon became a big concern, and prompted individual testing, and now what actually, so we came to a conclusion, and so we're trying to bring attention to the testing of the household, which is very important. Okay, so here's a little bit more history. Just want to tell you again, we didn't know much about radon, and in late 20th century, some health mines were established in Montana basin, which attracted people who was sick with on arthritis and who wanted to treat arthritis. And somebody noticed that radiation is good for arthritis, and it was a business. So people used to come to Montana, go to the mines. Actually, it's old mines, mine abandoned already, and sit there and treat arthritis by the radon radiation and socialize at the meantime. So here's a big picture which demonstrated. But at that time, little what we know about the damage, about the radiation harm which radon can cause. So, but if you will see, flowers in the right here. So it was kind of well-run and well-established business. So I'm not sure now is it popular or not, but I found it very interesting. So radon is bad. Who is on the risk? Not only people who live in the houses which has a high radon level, but people who work with soil, who test radon in our households, people who work in mines with poor ventilation system, even people who work in the subways and tunnels, even excavation workers, and people and construction workers too. So here's a long list of the people who is on the risk. So here's the radon map. So if you will see the colors, the red color, that means it's a bad sign. So radon level is very high in the state, and Maine one of the red states. But so if you see, so radon problem not only for Maine, as I said. So it's a problem with radon. So you can find from coast to coast, and many states are involved. And this is like a natural radiation, nothing which we can do about this, but knowledge is a power, and so my next 10 or 15 slides will be on how to deal with the radon. Okay, so radon in Maine. Red is zone 1, and it's represents the highest potential for greater than 4 picocuries per liters. And orange is on 2, moderate, stands for moderate, from 2 to 4. And yellow, there is no yellow here on this map. We don't have a yellow zone in Maine, unfortunately. So here's a house, and so you can imagine. This is a little picture very nicely shows how radon can sneak in the house. And it can be by 3 or 4 routes. And first is a diffusion. So it comes from the soil. It's from here. So here's a radium-containing soil, and goes through the cracks in the foundation and in the floor to the basement by diffusion. And then it goes up again through the little cracks and kind of creeping up. Also, radon can come to the house and be released by the water and through the shower, mainly through this, not from the drinking water, through the shower, because it's a gas. And then we take a shower in all of this little drops. If water is contaminated, it's possible to find radon at a very, very high concentration. Okay, so here, actually, basically, this is almost the same slide, but if level is radon in the basement is low, so this automatically means at the higher level, on the second or third floor, and the attic level of radon will be less, because radon is like a heavy gas, and it likes, to be in the basement mainly. So 2 slides about waterborne radon. Waterborne radon to air ratio is 10,000 by 1. And primarily radon comes from groundwater sources, wells, rather than river. So here the slides which demonstrate that even if a level of radon in the water not very high, from the faucet, water with high level of radon can come. Why? Because of that pipe scale, which can absorb radon and release it on the point of exit from the faucet. So this is actually, I found this fact is very important, because it's very important to know where to test the water, and because level could be different. It depends from and depends on many factors. Okay, so here's a little bit of chemistry. So radon itself doesn't cause any damage, but products of decay of the radon can cause lung cancer. Products of decay, they cause alpha particles, and they actually like to float around. Some of them got inhaled through the lung. Some of them just drop on the surfaces and sit there and wait when they will be inhaled. So it depends. So here, just want to bring your attention to this product of decay, which calls polonium-218, and this one, polonium-214, which are the most toxic materials of radon decay. They those alpha particles which can cause the main damage. So how it goes? So here the radon, which releases alpha particles. And here the polonium, which comes, unfortunately, we won't be recorded, so manage over here. So here's the polonium, which comes from the father radon. And here's another one. And what they do? They damage our DNA. They create gene damage. So here's the problem. And from this damage, because it's broken, and there is no gene which will suppress the cancer. So this is lies in the bottom of all the changes. So here's the problem. So here the houses, again, the slides, so I found it very interesting, very nicely demonstrate how the alpha particles bombard our DNA and make this double-strand breakage. And out of this, cancer happens at the time. So here, actually, this is, I also found this slide very interesting. It demonstrates how the alpha particles can damage the plastic. So this is dots which alpha particles left on the plastic. So you can imagine if they can do this with the plastic, so what they can do with our genes and DNA. Okay, so now you know that radon is a serious national health problem, and studies on occupationally exposed minors clearly show a linear relationship between radon exposure and lung cancer. And the same laboratory tests on the animals prove. So now we can scientifically tell, and we have this all scientific data and all facts to tell, yes, radon is very bad and we have to do something about it. So this is the bad news. So as I said at the beginning, the level of non-toxic radon in the household is accepted to be 4 picocurie, but case control study shows that cancer may arise even in somebody who never was exposed to the high radon level, and more than 4 picocurie. This is a kind of bad news, but let's be optimistic. And again, this steps demonstrate that radon is a major environmental and occupational health hazard. So here's a list of the organizations which support the contention that radon is a leading environmental health risk. So you will see American and international public health agencies here. So and this list of the organization goes and goes and goes. So this is I just put only one slide. Okay, so just this is my last slide. So I think I convinced that my audience that radon is a leading environmental health risk, and we have to do something about that. So what exactly laboratory will tell us, and then will be open